What's good, family? Hard legs, soft legs, old heads, young bucks. How y'all feeling? This is your host, N to the A to the Z. Nas Innovator for the full. And I'm back. You back. We both here for another episode of Jenner's podcast. Today I got a special episode in a way. Not necessarily special, special, but special as in like something I'm pretty sure we all could learn from. So, therefore, before we even truly get into the episode, you seen the title of the name. Might be a little confused just off the seven deadlies and seven heavenlies. Some may know what I'm talking about, some may not. I'm not talking about an anime. Um, before we even, like I was saying, before we really get into it, everyone experienced or experiences at least some of these sins and virtues to some degree. So self-awareness while listening to this episode would be very much recommended. If you one of them people who think you perfect, this video might wake you up a little bit. I mean, this audio might wake you up a little bit. So if you couldn't tell off the name of the episode or something, today the topic of discussion is the seven deadly sins and the seven heavenly virtues. What exactly will we be talking about? Um, I wrote all this stuff and spent time writing all this stuff down. Collecting notes and quote unquote data for my for this episode right here, and I will be talking about the importance of the seven sins and virtues, the verses, the opposites basically of all the sins and the virtues, type shit, and how to identify them, how to identify the seven sins and seven virtues. Because although the names might sound, you know, quite familiar, as in like we all heard these before, or just off hearing the name, you might think somebody or something that's fallen, that fall into one of those, under one of those sins or virtues, or you might have some character traits or personality traits yourself that might fall under one of these, but you might not never know it, or you might just be, blind to seeing where you come from. I mean, not seeing where you come from, where what your personality traits and shit fall under, seeing what type of person you are. So basically, this episode is kind of under the tip of trying to be a better person, self improving. Really, that's really what it is. So off rip, you know, we're gonna take a quick little break and make sure I gather everything first, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna get right to the episode. So give me a quick little minute. All right, we back. So first off, to start, might as well just talk about the importance of the seven sins and seven virtues. If I'm being completely honest, I heard about the seven deadly sins before. Like, I know it's an anime name, so that might catch some people's attention. Like, seven deadly sins as an anime. I don't know it as of that. I know of that show and shit like that, but no, I know. I mean, like, I've heard of the true seven deadly sins before, but I've never heard of the seven heavenly virtues. That was something I had to do a little research on, and curiosity popped up in my mind. Like, if it's seven deadly sins, of course it got to be seven, seven positive opposites of the deadly sins, right? I didn't know it was seven heavenly virtues, though I would have never thought to call it that, but it kind of makes sense. So the importance of the seven deadly sins and the seven heavenly virtues is to understand and combat negative behaviors by actively using positive traits. As you'll soon be able to put together throughout the episode, that all of these, all the negative behaviors that we that we see or that we produce or that we that we are basically around both have they all have positive counterparts to where you could eliminate that your negative ways by just simply switching over to these little things. And I'm gonna get into how to identify them later on throughout the episode and stuff. Of course I got to tell y'all about the to tell y'all I'm gonna tell y'all the definitions and stuff like that. um so actually we could get into that right now. To be honest, I actually wrote those down as well. Seven, although the number seven don't sound like a lot, when I was writing this shit wasn't like, I don't get tired from writing or nothing like that, but it was like, it was a lot. It was sort of kind of a lot. Now, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro. I most likely, I mostly went to, I mostly went to, I mostly did some of my research off of like, not necessarily Google, but like talking to, I got some of these off of, I got the definitions off of, it might have been Google. It was not it wasn't like literally Google, but it was like oh some search engine. I forgot what it was, bro. But the examples of it and stuff like that really got from my understanding of the definitions, and that came from a little bit of help with Google too. So I'm not even gonna cap to y'all, bro. But first, should I start with the deadly sins or the virtues? We're gonna go with the bad, then go to the good. So y'all know, so you'll be able to identify where you fall into one of these, and then we'll get to how you change them and stuff like that. So first but not least, pride. Now, to be honest, I could say I can't really say pride is like was like a good word, sort of kind of like a looked at as a good word to me. Only was because of like in games like wrestling and shit like that, when you make a character and they got personality traits, it'd be like prideful to be on the good side and then egotistical be on the bad side. So it'd be like I thought having pride was like a good thing, but based off this definition, pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom is one closely associated, or from qualities of possessions that are wildly admired. So, if I might have lost you a little bit in off the definition, what I gathered from what they saying is basically people who have pride is people who have too much, like, I don't want to say necessarily too much confidence to make it seem like confidence is like bad or nothing, but too much like self belief, too much self belief based off things they have achieved, or or just like materialistic objects. Having confidence because of one of those things is basically pride type shit. Basically, is what they saying. Like you ever met somebody who is like, um when they at their lowest, they just don't want to talk to nobody. Like it's perfectly normal. You don't want to talk to nobody, and you want to be in all of your own shell and shit like that. But when you up, you up. You want to boast. You want to be in everybody's face. Or well, is that really pride? Yeah, that's a little bit of pride. But what it's like, or people who not confident until they got something physically. You know, you could be taking a bus a couple times, or you had to rely on, you know, riding a bike or something like that to get to your destinations, and you don't feel completely confident in that, or nothing like that, or you find excuses to stop yourself from having to take the bus and shit like that. But when you get a car, now it's like you just you overly confident. You just like don't know how to act for real. That's what pride is. I'm gonna identify those later on. I was gonna do it immediately after the definition, but I already said I'm gonna do it later. So the next definition, the next seven deadly sin is greed, an intense desire for more of something, especially when it's more than what's needed or deserved. You know, so like let's say food. We could start off with something simple. Food, for example, like you ever. I'm the oldest of seven siblings, so I don't know if most of y'all got siblings and nothing like that. But you ever been we all been around like spending the night with cousins and shit like that, and y'all been at y'all house and you got hella snacks and all that shit, and they just y'all had just ate, and then out of nowhere, like 10 minutes later, the niggas talking about they hungry, niggas going around getting snacks out the fridge and shit like that just because it's there. Like that's greed. Or like how I be having to tell my siblings, like sometimes y'all just be wanting stuff because y'all see it, not because y'all necessarily want it. That's kind of like greed too. You feel me? It's just like greed. Or we could talk about, because greed ain't only with food too. Greed with money too. Like you could be, you could be working a job or something and just got paid. You know, although it might seem like a good idea to, I just got paid. I want to go work extra hours or something like that, or something along those lines. It's just like you're being greedy. At it, like think like it's not. It's like basically think about your. All of these is gonna tell you is basically like gain from all of these is to think about other people. To be honest, in some sort of way, uh, especially with the greed though. The next seven deadly sin I got right here is lust, a strong desire for something such as sex, money, power, food, or a particular smell. Okay, so maybe the money example for greed could be under the same, for lust too. But I personally think with lust they talking more sexual than anything else. Even though you can be lustful for power, money, and et cetera, et cetera. I think lust is more what's the word I'm looking for? Aligned with sexual sexual attraction and stuff like that. Just basically like lust is like you see a girl on Instagram and you just now you scrolling up and down the page, you fiending for it and shit. And you don't even know her at all. You just it's just or like how the girls be, you know how how girls, how some girls just could get on Instagram and put ass on the sink, take a picture, post it on the gram, and then you know that's lustful activity. But the lust behind that is the people who go heart story, slide up. Damn, I wish I could, or damn, you need to come, or like you'll see in the comments of any social media post. It could be lives, it could be posts or anything, and they'll just be like, damn, I eat, or like they just say some wild, freaky shit that you would just, would not be used to really seeing on the regular type shit. So that's lust. Next, I got envy, a feeling of discontented or resentful longing around someone else's possessions, um, qualities, or luck. Pretty sure we all, you know, have seen a little bit of envy or displayed a little bit of envy. One prime example of envy is like rather you got a little cousin, a little brother or something, or you just been around little kids, niece, nephews. You give one little kid a toy that ain't being played with. Now all of a sudden another little kid come out of nowhere. Hey, that's mine. I want that. Da, da, da. That's envy. Even though it's like them little kids, they don't know no better. That's still, you know, it just showed that we kind of this is not something we develop. It's kind of like a choice. And it's just like it's a the sins and virtues are just choices that we make, and they fall under a certain tree. Basically, is what or just like you ever been on a team or something, or like not even really go down. You ever watch like TV shows or movies to where like say a cheerleading squad, the captain, the captain hosting tryouts, and it's a new girl on the team, but she came from out of town, so she got a whole new skill set. She was the captain of her last cheerleading team, and the rest of the team like, okay, she's very good, or the football players probably like, yeah, she should join the team. And then the captain just like, I don't know, like she just not good enough, or shit like that. Like that's showing signs of envy. You can make all of these fit into your life as they please. Just go off the definition and example, and some things, if they don't pop up immediately in your head, that don't mean you haven't experienced them. I'm pretty sure we all experienced them. You just got to give it some time. It's probably been a long ass time. I don't know. Or maybe it was yesterday, or maybe you're going through it as you listen to it. I don't know. But next, we got gluttony. Now this one caught me off guard. I never really heard the word gluttony before. Like, but gluttony, the act of eating or drinking to excess or overindulge in anything to the point of waste. Now, that one kind of lost me a little bit. I personally don't really go through, haven't really experienced a lot of gluttony. So, off what I gathered from that was like, just eating or drinking, for no reason, like just because, like, so basically like boredom drinking, boredom eating, boredom drinking, or no stress eating and shit like that. Like people who people who like get mad, and the first thing they do when they get mad is I'm finna go eat. Every time, like it's just like you're just doing anything type thing, or like or like in reality, a lot of people facing gluttony just like, and they call it under being young and dumb. It's like young and dumb to me sound like you just had a lot of, it's an excuse for a whole bunch of sins you committing type shit. Maybe you don't know you committing it, but like just how like everybody, people use anything, any and everything to get drunk and shit like that. Like, um, let's see, you could be dating somebody on the football team or a basketball team. He scored 2 points, he scored a touchdown. We finna go get drunk after this or after the game, or you in the middle of doing a long essay, and you just think to yourself, damn, I deserve a drink. Like what are you doing? Shit like that. So that's gluttony. Um, the next deadly sin is basically like just very simple, and it's wrath. I mean, when you hear the word wrath, you should probably already know like what it means. But if you don't, wrath is just extreme anger. Like if you watch the movie or you watch some type of superhero movie, I don't know what other movies or TV shows they would have used these in other than superhero type of things. But like when you hear somebody say like, you're gonna feel my wrath, or like shit like that, or when you watching, I don't know, because I just watched this movie the other day called Teen Lust. It kind of threw me off, but they was like, I don't know, I don't want to get off sidetrack, but basically when you hear other people like, um such and such is gonna unleash his wrath, or something like that. So it was just like, that's basically what that is. Just being hella mad for, I can't say really no reason, but just being hella mad, like madder than necessary, I guess. And the last seven deadly sin, um, which may be, you know, kind of like very common in a way, but not really common at the same time. Sloth, reluctance to work or make an effort, laziness, yeah, that's really it. Just laziness, just being lazy. That's that's like, I personally don't know a lot of quote unquote lazy people, but I do know a couple of, we all do have time, but just being reluctant to do something. Now I'm not saying necessarily like all of these all all examples of any of the sins is just all bad. Like some could be, like how life is, bro. Life is life. So in certain situations, you might have to display some of these, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're not necessary. But to wake up and know that you have a choice between the sins and virtues, and you vividly choose to go do the negative, yeah, you have a problem inside, internally. So to jump from the ship that's about to blow up to the ship that's you know about to succeed and prevail, we about to talk about, I'm about to give y'all the definitions on the seven heavenly virtues. Some of these y'all may have heard, some of these y'all might have not heard. I don't really know. I'm kind of these kind of new to my ears as well. But humility, first, not but not least, the opposite of the opposite of pride is humility. Um, with pride, we said people who basically just gain confidence off of um their accomplishments and basically materialistic objects, things that don't really hold any importance. So with humility is just a modest or a low view of one's own importance, being humble. um like I said, I'm gonna get into examples and how you can identify them, later. But yeah, they kind of go, somebody who. So basically, pride is like, now that I read that, basically pride is like somebody who is cocky, and humility is just somebody who is just you know graceful and humble in a way. Next, the next sin, the second sin was greed. The second virtue to go against that is charity. Um, Charity is generosity and helpfulness, especially towards the needy or suffering. Now I think that's pretty self-explanatory. With greed, it was just like wanting extra stuff, wanting stuff, especially if you don't need it or if you're not deserving of it. So charity is just like giving away, doing stuff for people, giving to people, or just like, just helping the needy and the suffering. That's people who really need stuff, and people who I wouldn't say necessarily are deserving, but people who are in lack of things they need, I guess. What was the next Oh, the next sin we had was lust, and the opposite of lust, the heavenly virtue is chastity. I hope I'm saying that right. Chastity, um, abstaining from sexual activity that is considered immoral, or from all sexual activity. So basically, with lust, how it's like I was just saying, like I was saying in the example, you'll see somebody on Instagram and it'll just be like, damn, I don't know nothing about her. I don't know a can of paint. Like, she just, I wish I could, or like we used to have, I know as boys, we used to have, back in, we used to have some talks of like, we'll bring up celebrities and they'll be like, what should we do if such and such was right here in your face right now? And then it'll get to straight freaky talking shit like that. Like, chastity is basically just staying away from all of that, just, pulling yourself, removing yourself from indulging in all of those sorts of activity. We going yeah, basically, yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, when you see, because if we being honest, bro, some girls know what they doing. I can't really say men too, because let's be honest, I'm not paying attention to all that shit. I don't even pay attention to the women who post um, lustful things no more. That all of that stuff is like, it irks me. So when you see girls like you know how girls take a picture, or they tell you to take a picture, and the first thing they do is turn back to the camera, turn ass to the camera, and look back, and then give you a seductive look down, like, but expect to be treated as in, it's just like, that's like, staying away from all of that is a sign of chastity, I guess. Uh, Now the next, you know, the next sin we had was, I'm pretty sure, envy. And the next virtue I got right here is kindness, the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. As simple as kindness seems, it obviously isn't simple. Like, it's easily it's easily said than done, especially in, like, I guess you could say, in today's world. Well, not even necessarily like that, like in today's world, just in general, like, because of just like, and I'm kind of going off like the rail a little bit here, but it's kind of hard to find genuine kindness, or stuff like that, because of so many examples of taking kindness for weakness. Too many examples of, too many people have trust issues, which put up like a automatic guard to certain things, or to certain people, especially if somebody just coming out of the blue showing you some type of kindness or something you're not used to. Of course, you wouldn't know how to receive that. So, you know, with envy, people just like, envy is like with people hating on you, or people hating on the things you have, people wanting the things you have, or hating on your success and things of that nature. Kindness is just people being like, I guess you could say, supportive in a way, like people who just, you know, who would, like, support you for your success, or things of that. You can make it correlate. You can make it correlate. Basically, kindness is kind of like, I wouldn't necessarily say being there for people, but like, you know, just the opposite of envious, bro. Just the opposite of hating on you, bro. They just, they love to see you shining, and things of that nature. Um, the next, and this is my verses slash opposites. So if you're trying to figure out why I'm saying, like, why I'm quoting the why I'm letting y'all know what the sin was, then go into the virtue, so you can know, like, the opposite type of thing. So the next sin, I believe, was gluttony. That's over excessive eating and drinking. Just doing extra shit for no reason. The opposite virtue, the heavenly virtue to go against that would be temperance. Now, I hear that word a lot when it comes from, like, tarot readings, but I don't really know the, like, definition of that word. So I'm enlightening both of us when I read this. But temperance, the quality of moderation or self-restraint, maintaining a balance in all aspects of life, avoiding extremes. Or I guess that's like okay, well, the meaning is the quality of moderation or self-restraint. So basically, like, with gluttony, it's over excessive eating and drinking. With temperance, it's like, sort of, kind of, just have a discipline in a way, like being able to tell yourself no in moments of where everything is looking good, everything is just like, I have to have this, or like, I need, like, I want this, just have it, being able to tell yourself no, or like be able to pull yourself aside, and just be like, look, you already just had such and such, you don't need this, or you just had such and such to drink, you're not even thirsty for real, you just want it because it's there. Like, remember what I just said. I used to have to tell my siblings, like, y'all don't want something for real, y'all just want it because it's offered, y'all just want it because it's there, y'all just want it because y'all could see it, or it's like, it's in the flesh. Makes perfect sense when you think about it. The next, and we're getting close to the end. I think we got two sins and virtues left. So the second sin after, um, gluttony, I'm pretty sure was what was that? Wrath. Yeah, wrath. And the virtue to go against wrath is simply patience. Patience, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. You know, so with wrath, with wrath just being extreme anger, you know, of course we could get agitated or irritated or annoyed by almost anything if we allow it, but to become extremely angry at something, like you have to be being pushed to the limit, or like you just got a short temper. Um, like they saying the way to go against that is to, just to be able to accept or tolerate whatever like situation, whatever it is that you would usually get angered by, just to be able to, look it in the face and just be like, yeah, okay, not letting it get to you, just having tough skin for real. I know patience really usually mean like to wait on something, to be able to wait to, shit like that. I guess that's another definition of patience too, but just to be able to tell certain objects and obstacles that you have to overcome, to just be like, yeah, I feel you, I hear you, but I'm gonna do my own thing, kind of like, and it'll come to me when it come to me type shit, or something like that. Now the last sin that we talked about was sloth, right? Um, laziness, the laziness, the lack of wanting to, work and do something basically productive in a way. Um, the virtue to go against that, to the virtue to turn, to defeat sloth. And I wish they would have called it like something else, like, but I guess it makes sense to like sloth. And you don't want to, you're lazy and shit like that. But diligence, diligence is, careful and persistent work or effort, hard work, perseverance. Um, no, it's just careful, persistence, work or effort. My bad, y'all. I started reading a little bit of the examples under the definitions. If the definitions is a little too short, I kind of got them all like not necessarily mashed up, but like they kind of like all under each other type of thing. So to get into the how to identify them, shit, we could go right into it. I'm gonna start with the sins and work my way back to the virtues again. Um, so yeah, this is like I said at the beginning. Self awareness is very recommended in this episode. So now that I'm talking about how to identify them, this is where it all kick in. If you already pointed out that just some of these might be you, cool. Now you know what to do. Now you can just sit back and wait on how to, what you got to do to, change those certain things about yourself. And if you hear that you got some good qualities, you know how to, what to stay away from, and how to empower those good personality, good traits, good characteristics that you have embraced or that you have. Um, so for pride, a way to, some ways to just identify pride. Some sort of bragging, like I'm saying, being cocky, bragging, arrogance, looking down on others. So basically, like, um, I'm kind of going off of like just movies for real, even though they don't really like, movies not real at all, but just like ever seeing like people just I don't really know, like just Captain, like, when you watch movies and it's like they in high school or something, and you just get like this bad representation of, all the football players or something like that, and they just got hella pride. They just, go around, hey, geek, nerd, you know, uh, push like basically just bullying motherfuckers like you just because you simply off the fact that you think you're better than everybody. It's like some people bully because they got shit going on at home, and some people bully just because like what the fuck can you do about it? I'm better than you, and that's like having too much pride in one way or another. Um, a way to ways to identify greed as the sin, hoarding, unwillingness to share, an desire for materialistic objects. So say you ask somebody, okay, let's go from the school aspect. Say you always bring like you always got like a pack of gum with you at school or something, or you always got something, to where, if you pull it out in the class, people gonna come left and right and be like, oh, let me get some, let me get some, let me get some. And then you share, and then all of a sudden that person that's always begging for shit and asking for shit, they bring their own snacks, they bring their own food, gum, chips, or whatever. And then at one time, like you just really hungry in the class, or because they got it, you just like, no, I ain't gonna say because they got it, because that's greed. If you don't want it, you don't want it. Like you just want it because they got it. So if you're really hungry and shit like that, and you ask them to, oh, can I get let me get some chips, or let me get a piece of gum, or under the act that you're really hungry, you really need it, type of thing. And they hit you with the no, nigga, that's mine, or no, go get your own, and shit like that. Like that's greed. You could beg for my shit, but when I ask, you know, for some of your stuff, it's like, yeah, no. Or just like hoarding, hoarding. That's kind of more of an older people thing. So auntie or granddad, or I don't know, anybody in the family could just be holding on to shit just to like sort of kind of say they got it, or just so they won't lose it, and another person end up with it and not worth something, or anything anything like that. Just like I'm pretty sure everybody has at least some person in their family to where they just hold their own to shit, whether they use it or they don't use it, or they just like, you know, just holding on to shit just cause. Um, and another example of greed, excessive desire for materialistic objects. People who just like, mm, people who just go around like, what's the example I could go for this that'd be like relatable? Um, Designer for example, people who like, you know you ever had somebody come to your house, or you ever went to somebody's house with somebody, and and now it's like somebody got something, some type of particular clothing or some shoes or something, and somebody just be like, hey, you should let me wear them for this day, I got shit like that. Like, of course it seemed, it like you want to look good and shit like that, but asking for other people belongings, ain't under the act of acting like it's yours and shit like that, that's a sign of greed, and shit like that. Or just like you got some you got some clothes, but they not like, I don't want to necessarily attack designer, but it's like, okay, so let's say you got a car, but it's not the first car that you would have wanted. You wanted like, say you got like a Toyota, but you really wanted like a Cadillac or something like that. Like and now you just like, you cool with it, under the, I got a car now, but it's like, you every time you thinking about it, or you see other people cars, like, oh, I don't want this, I don't like this, and shit like that. I hope that's under the same tree as greed, because that sound like envy to me. I might be going a little bit off track right now. So we're just gonna move to the next. The next sin, signs of sin, lust. Basically like basically just obsessive sexual thoughts, prioritizing physical attraction over emotional connection. So basically, like I was saying, like how a nigga could be my age or younger, and they'll see like Lotto or Meg Thee Stallion, just doing a little, shake ass a little bit on Instagram or something, and now all of a sudden they just like, that's bae, I love her, like, shit like, or they just like, they thinking in their mind like, damn, what would I do to that, or like, shit like that, or maybe let's bring it in real life. You maybe you can't have female friends because you think every girl that you come in contact with that you know rather you just met them or you've been on them for years, you think you're supposed to do something with them and shit like that. Like that's lust. That's lustful. And on a women aspect, just when it comes to prioritizing physical attraction of emotional um connection, how like just posted like thirst traps and shit like that. Like you want people to want you because of your body, because of a look, that you have, instead of actually wanting to get to know people and start to like somebody because of the inside and not the outside. You feel me? If that makes sense. Now to move to the next, envy. Envy. The next thing we got on the list is envy. And I'm pretty sure you can get envy just off the definition, but signs of envy is like people hating on other people's success. Like, um, you might be, and sometimes it's not blatant. Sometimes you got to read through the lines because nowadays it's like, well, to be honest, I'm pretty sure it was never a time where hating was like, open. I know pretty much nowadays you will find more openly haters, and they'll be more under like your friends and shit like that. And I mean, you still have to pay attention close to that because sometimes the joke is not the joke for real. Sometimes the laugh behind something is just to lighten up the mood, lighten up the tension. But they really got, true intention is what they saying through the lines behind it or something like that. So hating on other success, comparing yourself to other people negatively, shit like that. Like I was saying with the car, like, you got a Toyota, but you see somebody with a Cadillac or a Bentley or something like that, and it's just like, well, this piece of shit I'm driving in ain't nothing compared to what he got, or how he get this and I got this, or shit like that, like, or just simply like those, like you will see them among siblings and stuff too. Like envy is very common. I feel like, when for Christmas, one kid got a brand new uh train set. Another kid got got socks and shoes. But it's just like, y'all not under the same. You make it make sense, bro. You make it make sense, bro. Um, the next scene we got. Hold on, I'm finna take a break. I think my mic finna die. Hold on. All right, we back. Um, the next scene, to pick up on was gluttony. The act of eating or drinking, to excessive or indulging in anything to the point of waste. So basically, like I'm saying, excessive consumption, overindulgence in food or drink. So basically just like stress eating, um, drinking and all that shit for no reason, finding any reason, and it could be like for weed too, like or anything for that matter. But I know weed is a very common, you know, uh, drug because it's kind of like the safest and shit like that. So people who you know smoke for no reason, or they gotta smoke before they do anything and shit like that. Which kind of make me take me back to the benefits of not rolling episode, to where I was, I have to, I tell a lot of people that I get high with that, like, I don't need to know how to roll, and it's glad that I don't know how to roll for these exact reasons. I could see myself being a person of, you know, oh, I just, I walk in the house and now I'm mad. Oh, I get irritated over something small. Oh, now I gotta smoke. Or it's middle of the night, I can't go to sleep. I gotta smoke. Or shit like that. Like I don't want to be one of those people. So yeah, that's really it with that. Um, the next sin, wrath, extreme anger. So signs of wrath would be like frequent angry outbursts. So basically like, or just holding grudges. So like in a classroom or any public setting where somebody just like randomly gets loud and makes a scene. It's like you could be doing that for attention, but it's also like, that's wrath at the same time. Like you just loud, you're just making a scene and you're loud for no reason, because shit don't really be that serious. Or holding grudges. I feel like holding grudges is some of the like lamest shit you could do. Just on the aspect of like holding grudges, you creating a battle in your own mind rather than in a battle. Like you're really creating a battle between you and yourself rather than you and whoever you think you got a problem with. And I've seen it and we all experienced it of people just like holding past things to us, or like just afraid to won't can't adapt to a new character because of they holding on to past things of maybe y'all used to do together or shit like that, and you changed and that's like it made a grudge between y'all. you know Now the last sin, how to identify sloth. um Reluctancy to work or make an effort, laziness. Basically, laziness, lack of motivation, procrastination, avoiding responsibility. Now, like I said the other day, it's okay to, I posted on my Instagram the other day. Actually, I didn't say it, but I wrote out that it's okay to, have dark days and shit like that, and when you in those times, just be in those times. Think about, don't just drown in them and try to stay in there forever and like make any life changing decisions in that emotion, in that feel. So but it's okay to, when you feeling unmotivated and stuff like that, to not, not really have to, not burn yourself out, or just do anything because trying to restill that motivation in yourself and shit like that. Or, we know what procrastination is, we know what laziness is. So, just being like, knowing you got to do something today, but you got extra time to do it. I mean, knowing that you can do something today, but you have extra time to do it, you hit yourself with the, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Or like, I'll do it after I'm done eating. And then after I'm done eating, turn into I'll do it later. And then I'll do it later, turn into I'll do it tomorrow. Which turn into you never really get it done and shit like that. And that's just, that's it. Or avoiding responsibility. Don't As simple as that sound, I don't really know like any examples of that coming off the top of my, mind for real, because like you're just avoiding a responsibility, to be honest. Now to move to the examples of, how to identify some of the virtues, and once we get through the virtues, the episode is pretty much over. So thank y'all for staying this long or tuning in this long. Hopefully is very beneficial, not only to me but to y'all as well. So humility, a modest or low view of one's own importance, humbleness. So examples of that is avoiding self promotion, acknowledging other people's strengths. You know, with pride, it's so easy to, it's so easy to talk about what you're good at, and and make sure you to start a program, start a show, or start whatever you're doing. Make you the group leader and shit, and make other people feel worthless around you. but to be humble, to have humility. You strengthen others. You let other people know the strength that they have in themselves, and you avoid talking yourself up majority of the time, and shit like that. Uh, next, charity. No, let me grab this. Let me grab my other notebook. Make this a lot easier. So charity, we have the sin to go against charity was greed. Um, just wanting stuff because you don't really need it and shit like that. So charity, generosity and helpfulness, especially towards the needy or the suffering. Um, Examples of that is like, sharing freely, giving others, giving others without expecting anything in return. You know, um, like um, when people be like, "That's my brother," I'm not going, you don't gotta give me nothing and shit like that. Like that's I guess that could be that's a sign of charity versus versus a regular friend. They short this day and now you you y'all out to eat or something, you gotta buy the food, buy the food, and then you hit them with the, all right, you owe me, such and such, such and such, next time I see you. That's that's not charity. I wouldn't say that's necessarily greed, but it fall under greed more than it fall under charity. So, um next, lust. We had lust for the sin, for the virtue, chastity, um, abstaining from sexual activity that is considered immoral, or from all sexual activity. Examples of that, how to identify that, or what to look for to identify that. Respecting personal boundaries, controlling sexual desires, and valuing commitment. You know, respecting personal boundaries, as in like, say you dating somebody, right? And you one of those people who you think by a certain time, if y'all didn't get intimate with each other, or if y'all didn't do anything physically, it's like, okay, it's a wrap. But she one of those people who, like, maybe she a virgin, maybe she just want to wait, maybe she just want to you know wait till it's just the time is right, till she feel like she know you for real and shit like that. Now look, I can say, ladies, if you celibate, you dating a man and shit like that, and you expect him to be celibate for a long ass time with you, y'all do gotta find some type of way to please each other. Now, respecting personal boundaries in that manner would be like, not respecting personal boundaries in that matter would be like you forcefully, forcing her into doing something that she don't want to do, or shit, or shit like that. I wouldn't necessarily say cheating, because like, if you dated somebody celibate and you not celibate, and y'all talked about this and shit like this, y'all had to come to some type of agreement to where, like, I need to do something to, you know, relieve this sexual int- intention, not intention, but tension, and shit like that. Controlling sexual desires, So basically, when you see, or simply like controlling sexual desires to where, like, if you was one of them people to where, like, you get on social media and you see Ruby Rose, or you see anything like that, now you just like, now you like, oh shit, like, now the thoughts coming in and in and in, just controlling sexual desires, you would unfollow those people, or you would try to, you would stay away from, not necessarily stay away from like women in general, but like stay away from attention whores, in a way, the ones that put themselves out there to want to be looked at in a sexual manner and shit like that. Even though most of these girls be acting like, they don't want that attention and shit like that. They act like it's creeps that, it's creepy when people get to wanting to be around them and shit like that, like wanting to do stuff with them and shit like that. Like that's the attention you pull on yourself, bro. The same go for men too. It's rare occasions for that. I personally never really understood, how to being affected, being offended by that as a man. But I can see it in certain ways. Um, yeah, and then value and commitment is like how for lust it's like like in wanting physical attraction rather than emotional connection. Value and commitment is like taking the time to actually get to know the person you're dealing with, the person you're talking to, rather than getting to know them just so you could. I mean, rather than talking to them just so you could accomplish one goal, which women already think men only want one thing, or you ain't gonna say all women and all women think all men want one thing, but you know, it's kind of like a popular opinion a little bit. So yeah, kindness, kindness. When we talked about envy, so to go against that, to rebel against that kindness, the quality of being friendly and generous and considerate. Examples of that, showing compassion, empathy, and concern for others. Basically, like I was saying, support. Basically, just the opposite of hating on the motherfucker. Like, as simple as that sound, it's very hard to, for people to do that. I don't understand why, but and hating don't necessarily, when I say hating on the motherfucker, don't necessarily have to be like I said, it's not blatant sometimes. Sometimes your friends will be not hating on you, but they'll be hating on other people around you, quote unquote, hence the word, gossip. That's kind of what that is too, talking about other people's situations and shit like that when it ain't got nothing to do with you, or they not in a facility to, you know, talk about it or defend themselves, shit like that. So that's that. Um, Next we got gluttony. The damn. Did I already say the obsessive? Well, gluttony is the obsessive, drinking and eating. So the virtue to go against that and how to identify temperance, the quality of moderation or self restraint, um, is maintaining balance in all aspects of life and avoiding extremes. Now, what the fuck? What the fuck? Now, what the fuck they mean by avoiding extremes? I don't really know because that's one of the ones I end up having to get off Google. I don't really know. I don't really know about that one. But we can make it make sense because if gluttony is like excessive eating and drinking, temperance is basically being able to tell yourself no, avoiding extremes or maintaining balance in all aspects of life, which maintaining balance in all aspects of life is kind of like self-explanatory. We could get to that in a minute, but to avoiding extremes, I guess they could mean like um something is saying peer pressure to me, like avoiding peer pressure, avoiding doing things that wouldn't be beneficial to you in the long term, or isn't really like your type of stilo as in the short term, type of thing. Maintaining balance in all aspects of life is like simply just being able to, you can have fun while also taking care of business, while also staying healthy, while also not being greedy and things of that nature. You get it. Uh, Next, we got wrath, which is just extreme anger, for the virtue, how to identify patience. Like I said, patience is kind of like, you know, what we usually know patience for is to be wait. If somebody be like, be patient, have some patience. It's, to wait, to hold on, to, give it some time. But patience, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. So, examples of patience would be accepting challenges calmly, not reacting impulsively to frustration. Impulsively meaning like not reacting, immediately without a thought type of thing. To do something impulsively means you did it without thinking about it. You like it was I could guess you could say intentional, but it was like you 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 just it just popped up and you just went with it type of thing. Like, you know. But accept the challenges calmly. They both kind of like self explanatory a little bit. Um Now the last virtue, to go against the last sin. The last sin was sloth. The last virtue is diligence. Careful and persistent work or effort. Um, how to actually witness. How to actually identify. Diligence in a person is hard work, perseverance, and taking responsibility for a task. Taking responsibility for you know just tasks. I was gonna say, it could be like taking responsibility for your actions and shit like that, but I don't think that's along the same line as diligence. That's something else. So yeah, diligence, yeah. Now, as a brief conclusion, I could talk about, because, some people just won't like, some people don't listen to this and maybe you don't make it all the way through. Or maybe, you know, you do and you are able to identify, what you have to change, what sins and virtues that you have and do have, that you don't have and do have, or well, you might have heard some virtues or sins that some people around you or in your circle might, have. So I could talk about like what I'm basically, and after this I'm wrapping the episode up. So what I'm basically gonna do is just, you know, because I read all of that and it kind of pointed out to me the sins and virtues that I have and that I gotta fix a little bit and shit like that. So to go off the sins. I know I never really been a prideful person, like an extra cocky person. Um I've always looked at it as in just like being confident. Maybe some people will go out and say that I used to be a cocky person or prideful in that manner. Um Never necessarily been a greedy person for real. Uh, I've had a brief stint of, just losing to lust, where like every, around that time where I was just texting females randomly, at like 12 o'clock, or just like, just I see pictures and stuff like that, and I'll be staring at them for hours, just fantasizing of like if I was to get this person in my graces or shit like that, and it'd just be a movie type of thing, which was awkward for me at the time, and it's awkward. It's not awkward for me now because I've obviously learned from it and shit like that. But yeah, now envy, I'm pretty sure we all uh experienced a little bit of envy, and not don't have to be recent, because recently I have not experienced no type of envy, or rather, I could say I haven't been envy of nobody else. um Gluttony, I stopped myself from that because I don't drink, I don't stress eat, I don't boredom eat, and I don't just get fried every hour of the day type thing. So yeah, extreme wrath, extreme anger. Eh, I mean, like, I don't. I have my times where I gotta rant a little bit, but do I really get like extra angry? I have my moments where I get angry too, but yeah, I guess I could. We all experienced a little bit of that too. Sloth, we're pretty sure all experienced a little bit of reluctance to work or make an effort. Just being did a little procrastination, felt a little lazy, had some lack of motivation. So on that tip, I'm pretty sure we all experienced a little bit of sloth, a little bit. Uh, Now to go to the virtues, to talk about the green flags in our life. oh, enough with the red flags. We always point out the red flags and other people and shit. Let's talk about the green flags and ourselves and other people, right? So humility. Will I say I'm completely humble? No. And I'm being completely honest. I am not, like, I'm not cocky at all, but I'm not fully humble. I'm kind of like at zero on a scale of 100 to 100. I'm like a zero, so I'm like even. I have my times to where I feel like I have to, boast myself a little bit, as if like the people I'm with, and the area that I'm in, or the people, the circle I found myself surrounded in, just don't, they don't understand the importance that I bring and the value that I hold. They don't, they feel the aura, but they don't understand why the aura is so strong, type of shit. You feel me? So that's why, like, I'm pretty sure that little sentence by itself just, show why I don't have humility. Um, Charity. Now I would say, because I grew up the oldest of seven kids, so it's like I know how to share, but like, do I just be wanting to? I guess you could say that. I guess you could say it. Uh, I have a green flag of, you know charity, being generous, and helpful when people need it or they suffering. If I'm able to help, I'll help. Type of thing. Not all the time though. Not It's not like 100% guaranteed, because sometimes it ain't that. I just don't be wanting to, deal with all that. But sometimes, if I can, I do it. You know. Um, Kindness. I feel like I'm very one of the most kindest people in the world, so we don't got to really go on that. Um, Temperance, the moderation of self restraint, maintaining. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's something. That's something I feel like I have to work on. Self restraint and being able to tell myself no in certain times. I've often found myself relying on other people to tell me, when to tell me no, and hold me accountable and shit like that. And biggest thing we gotta learn is, like, ain't nobody gonna do it for us. Nobody really here to save you or nothing like that. So, yeah, you would just yeah. So that's something I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one I gotta work on that, but I gotta work on that a little bit too, because it be sometimes where I think about something and I go with it, and then in the middle of me doing it, I'll be like, I shouldn't have done this, or probably, should have did this instead, or shit like that, instead of just nah. Instead of at the beginning, you just nah, you should rethink that and do this, or shit like that. My biggest friend is me, so at the end of the day, I gotta hold myself accountable to that. Now, patience, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay trouble, suffer without getting angry or upset. I can say I'm a very patient, very resilient person. You know, Hopefully, we going through this, you take this time to, go through it as well, and see if you have any of these qualities. If you don't have none of them, like no sins, no virtues, you're lying. Because I know we all got something. We all got something. We all dealing with something. But I would say I'm a very patient person when it comes to that. Like, I don't easily get riled up. Little things that might make other people want to crash out and shit like that, I could just, brush off. Like, and not even necessarily like brush off. It's just like my retaliation is different. I'm not gonna fight fire with fire. I'm gonna fight your fire with ice. And it might not work all the time, but over time it's gonna, you're gonna feel it, and it's gonna be like, damn, type of shit. So, what was he on? Patience. Next is diligence, careful, and persistent work or effort. I could say I feel like I'm very diligent. Like, take for example the pod. Not really making too much money off the podcast, but I'm what, 70 episodes deep or something like that. Like, so, we keeping it going. We are showing perseverance. We are showing hard work. We showing persistence. Yeah. So with all that being said, I would think we would like to. I think this is a great point to end the episode. Hopefully, everybody learned something from this episode and gained a little bit more knowledge from the Triple G himself. As I gain more knowledge, as well. Never too late to learn. Never, and you never stop learning. So, yeah, keep that in mind. And with that being said, love y'all. We out. Peace.